welcome back to Shared Screens Media Club, the one show here on Shared Screens where we talk all things books, not books. I messed up the rule right off the bat.
Here, dude.
Right off the bat, no.
Here's the first one.
Books are not
First
media.
one.
Burn the books.
That's the only rule, Josh.
Yeah, I broke it right off the rip. All things video games, movies, television, anything but books, because who the hell reads? Today, I'm joined by Alec and Rumble Pack of Shared Screens. But more importantly, we got co-op comedy in here. We got Robo Dessert, Robert Highwind. How y'all doing?
Put those C's in the air.
Yeah,
Acting like you just don't care.
Fantastic.
Is that
And I know
thing we do?
I think so. And I know what you're thinking.
Tried it, it's not good.
I know what you're thinking. Co-op comedy. The guys must be talking about the political, socio-economic state of video games this week.
Yeah.
You're wrong. We're actually talking about co-op. So mess that one up. Wanted to talk to you guys about co-op games this week, and right off the rip, I wanted to ask you guys when coming up with the idea of co-op comedy and having an entire channel bankrolled off co-op games. Did you guys look at the state of co-op games when forming co-op comedy?
No. Who does any research before starting a YouTube channel? You know, you just hit go and you just pray
you
for
hit play,
for
just let it
views.
go.
Fair enough.
No, I think it was more of when we played A Way Out. I think that was kind of like a linchpin moment of strictly co-op gaming that we were like, well, this is really cool. And then we had a night where we were playing Human Fall Flat, which isn't really co-op; it's multiplayer technically, but co-op kind of like is very blurred. Some like games will be like, oh yeah, we are co-op, but it's actually just multiplayer. So like you could have up to 4 people. But we played Human Fall Flat and we had a blast, and that kind of just was like, hey, we should play games together and record it for the YouTube.
We'll just figure it out from
there.
Yeah,
because a lot of the games that we play isn't even co-op strictly. It's like multiplayer, but we're just me and him are playing.
If we're honest, we've played some single player games too.
Yes.
What?
Oh my god!
Whole channel's alive.
No one does
Blowing the
research.
roof off of this now. Co-op comedy canceled.
We're like single player comedy. How dare you?
We make that joke quite often because Robo likes to run off and do his own thing when we're playing together. And I'm like, it's co-op comedy, not single man comedy. Go get back over here.
I like to
Or
explore
MMO comedy.
Yeah, MMO.
But no, like also to your question, like the state of co-op, like I don't know, it's never been a concern. But I'm almost more worried about the state of single player games because it feels like to some extent like every game is like, and it's co-op or multiplayer, and it's like that doesn't always need that. Like I love co-op games, but sometimes I'm like, just let that be a single player. Focus on the single player, you know. So I'm not worried about the state of co-op games for sure. Like I don't know, it feels like that's always going to be there.
There's always that thing where like
co-op.
they tacked on multiplayer. Like by the way, Mass Effect 3 has multiplayer. I didn't ask for this. No one asked for this.
Nobody asked for this. Yeah.
Sometimes those slap, man. You ever play the Tomb Raider 2014 multiplayer mode, bro?
Sure did.
No.
It was awesome.
Actions.
Yeah. That brings me to another point. Like, I feel like a lot of times it is like tacked on or like more of an afterthought. What's been like out of all the games everyone here's played? What's been like the worst? What's the worst tacked? Is it the hat? Is it what's the hat in Mario Odyssey that
Cappy?
player gets?
I think.
I wouldn't even call that co-op.
Yeah.
I'm just
barely,
your baby brother
like,
to do something.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Nintendo is such a fiend for that. Like when you look at, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands and they're like, it's co-op, but the other person plays as a Waddle Dee. Like, I get it. You can only have one Kirby, but it's also like, you're Nintendo. You could have made a way for there to be 2 Kirby's co-op. Or
There's
whatever,
legitimately other Kirby games where there's more than one Kirby.
See,
there's a
thing.
blue,
So, I don't know.
a green.
So I don't know. It feels like sometimes it's a little bit exactly like what Robert said. It's like we're just gonna put this mode on just so you have an easy way to play with a younger sibling, and they can be playing with you. You know?
I always like to think it's specifically so it's like Nintendo does it on purpose, so that the older brother can be like, no, you get to be Waddle Dee. I'm Kirby.
I think I figured a worse one than the Cappy from Mario Odyssey. it's Super Mario Galaxy, where the second player was just the Wiimote collecting the star bits.
Yeah,
I didn't even know you could do that.
What was that?
Yeah.
So
So player one is just Mario
though,
doing all the actual platforming. Then the player two is just using the Wiimote to gather up all
I'll play the
star
game.
bits.
You do admin work over here. On the side.
Honestly, Alec, let me just say, yes, technically that might be worse in like a developmental stance. Like it was just so easy to tack on. But I will say, at least that didn't interfere with your gameplay of the person actually playing it. The hat one, like just tossing a hat when I'm like, what? I need my hat.
The cursor could block it, I guess, where you're trying to go.
Because I remember in Galaxy, I gave it to my girlfriend, then now wife. She would just be like, bloop, 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 collecting. I'm like, thank you. Got to go feed those fat stars.
That's how I was playing Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I was just like, go get these studs, please. I'm gonna focus, mainline the game. I need studs to purchase upgrades, get all that stuff. So my girlfriend at the time, she'd just go around just mashing the attack button, destroying everything for studs. And it's like it's not tacked on, but it's like it's more just like you get your own separate thing.
Yeah.
Calling that co-op would be insulting to co-op games.
Yeah, exactly. What about couch co-op games? How are we feeling on couch co-op? I feel like that's almost.
I feel like that's the one you see less of these days, right? Everything's online co-op. You look at like series that are known for having like split screen and stuff, like Halo dropping it. I think in my mind, like the only thing that's like truly still kind of that old remnant of couch co-op are like fighting games, right? Like Street Fighter or whatever that are meant to be played right in front of you. Like what has come out lately that's even got like local co-op on it?
The weirdest thing is I feel like you're right. Everything's switched to co-op. It's switched to online. You sell upwards of 4 times the consoles, 4 copies of the game, and everything. And like one of the big games to do that was Call of Duty. Everything's online co-op or online. Fill out a whole lobby of 24 players. But Call of Duty still has like split screen co-op to this day. You can still like add in a second player to just play on a guest account. You can still do co-op missions. Like they had it before Halo Infinite, and it's like, what's going on? What's going on?
Has it.
That's a different conversation.
Fair enough. Did you say Fortnite has it too?
Yeah,
Robert?
Fortnite has split screen couch co-op. It splits right horizontally, changes like the UI and everything, and like gives you a wider field of view. It looks great.
What's up?
Yeah, I mean, when we were looking into it, we were like, hey, maybe we play Fortnite for the channel. I looked into it. I was like, oh wow, it actually has like a split screen version, which is kind of cool.
Really?
But I think it's only for consoles, obviously.
Fair enough. Would you guys ever consider, going in and recording together in the same room and playing something split screen?
That was this my current office was supposed to be like a makeshift co-op office because like the TV's here, right? This didn't look like this in the beginning, but the idea was to put a small couch here so that we can record live, because I think the energy is so much more different when you're live next to somebody.
Yeah. Because we've gotten to do a few in-person streams now, and it's such a different vibe in such a good way. Because like we have a blast recording online, but like being able to be there in person, you feed off of each other's energy, and we can physically touch. Something crazy happens, and you always grab my shoulder or whatever. But we would for sure play all kinds of stuff. Couch co-op.
Yeah, that's my preferred way. Couch.
Yeah.
Versus online, because I mean I grew up with I'm an only child, but my cousin is also an only child. He's 5 years younger than me, and we basically grew up together. So I played so many video games with him. I played even single player games, and he would watch because he's younger, so that's his duty.
Naturally.
Yep.
And then going further from like just family stuff, like my girlfriend, my wife, would watch me play single player games. And even up until we had our baby, I played Elden Ring and she was feeding the baby. And during paternity and maternity leave, we played and beat Elden Ring. So like the whole couch experience, being next to someone and enjoying that is like, I think that's peak video games for me.
Right.
So that's where Virtual Couch was born. Plug 2001 Robert Iwan.
Yeah, like I think some of my best like gaming memory, because I love single player experiences, but like still some of my best gaming memories are like playing Borderlands 1 with my friend on PS3, just sitting on the couch playing for hours and hours. When the second one came out, we were living together and we each had like our own flat screen TV, and we both brought them to the living room and played on separate consoles right next to each other. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
I know one of my, like, I guess kind of unintentional co-op. So in Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, you can do 2-player mode where instead of you're racing against each other, you're both on the same cart.
Love it.
And so I guess the only real co-op part, because the one person that's in front is driving, the other person just is basically using the items. So
so good.
To be able to switch, you would both have to hit the Z button at the same time. So that's how you could use the other item.
Yeah, my friend would take over the cart and then refuse to switch, and I'd just be yelling at him the whole time. Be like, "Come on, I want to play. Let me drive."
I think if I remember right, you could like pass the item back to them if you were driving.
Ooh,
if I remember right, but yeah. But it was just one of those things that, like, it wasn't meant to be a co-op game, but that, kind of a unintentional co-op mode.
Makeshift way. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember like what the first like strictly co-op experience was, and I feel like it might have been Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo, because you can have the other player be Diddy Kong, and then you would have to tag out, like, so there's like certain bad guys that Diddy can't beat. So then if my little cousin was playing as Diddy, and then like we'd get to that guy, we'd do a little high five, tag out, Donkey Kong comes in, barrels through, and then if I want to let him play, we just tag back out. And I think that was so fun. Not enough games do that. Tropical Freeze brought that back, but because it was couch co-op, I feel like couch co-op doesn't get like the limelight anymore. It just kind of fizzled away in favor of online play. Which I guess makes sense, because then you don't have to call exactly. You don't have to call like, "Hey, can you come over now, please, and let's play." You just fire it up and play. But
yeah, I agree. It's like, it's sad. I miss it in a couple ways, like being able to just go over, not have to like bring a whole console and a monitor over for like a LAN party or anything. Just like the ability to go over to someone's house and both be able to play a game on the couch at the same time. I feel like
it has significantly impacted just like having people over, right? Or at least like having something to do when my friends get here, right? Because everything, it's not that I hate like the gear towards online, because I don't think any of us would be friends if we already hadn't like been playing games together and stuff, right? Exactly. Like we've done all of that, but it's you do kind of, this is where I get my old man cane out and be like, I miss the old days when I used to just walk over to my friends and play Turok 2 on his N64. And there used to be such a like, that was a huge selling point of the Nintendo 64 in particular, right? Was that you can have 4 people all playing on the same console at one time. Every game had 4-player multiplayer, right? You got your Golden Eyes, your Star Foxes, your Turoks, Smash Brothers. Like now it's all I guess it's technically all online, but it's like I almost feel like there's no selling point anymore of it. Be like, hey, play with your friends, do this together. It's just not get in here. Yeah, it's multiplayer, but you're there to join ranked or in skins or whatever. I think it's both simultaneously added and lost some of that initial like social aspect to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for Destiny. Destiny managed to keep that.
Yeah.
That's why I think people like Joseph Ferris are so important to the industry, because he was just like, no, this is co-op. That is it. Like, you better find somebody and play. And I'm so happy that it did so well and it got so popular. And I don't know whether it would be that popular if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic when that happened, because it kind of forced you, like, if you want to play A Way Out, if you want to play It Takes Two, you have to find someone, and everyone was like online and Twitch was blowing up at that point. And so if you made a crappy game, I think it would have just came and died. But I think because it was a good game and because it came out at the right time, it got so popular. And especially It Takes Two kind of perfected the co-op experience and game of the year. Whoop, whoop.
Well, I mean, it proves that there's a market for that too. You know, like, it's not just, like we're all talking about it here. Like, there's still a market for that, like, dedicated co-op game. I mean, those games, the We Were Here series, like, people want stuff like that still.
I mean, one that just came out this past week is, or I guess 2 weeks ago, as of the time this was when this will be uploaded. Blanc. That's a co-op game. It can be played single player, but it's really meant to be a co-op game.
Right.
Game looks really cool.
Yeah. And like, yeah, everything we had mentioned. I feel like a way out like came out like pre-pandemic, and it was like, it was cool. Like, it was a cool concept, but yeah, I definitely think It Takes Two definitely put Joseph Fares even more on the map. He was already up there with the fuck the Oscars, all that stuff, like the personality. But I feel like A Way Out, like, it got a huge boost because of It Takes Two. And then, like you said, like winning Game of the Year at the 2021 Game of the Year Awards. And then I think recently he just put out like 10 million in sales, I believe. Which is insane. It's just weird that no one saw that and was like, we should do something similar.
I do think also the advent of like one pandemic and everyone's at home with significant others or family or whatever and need something to play, but also two, you also kind of have the advent of things like Game Pass now, right? To where I remember when A Way Out came out, I had a buddy that picked it up. I played a little bit of it. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. It's like, we should play more. I was like, I don't want to spend $40 on this. I was like, this is cool, but sure. And while I do think that It Takes Two is just a larger game than A Way Out, I do think that it's easier to sell people on something like that when they kind of don't have to drop $60 on an experience that they don't know anything about.
Weren't those games, or at least I think It Takes Two, didn't it come with like a buddy pass or something like that?
On PC it did. I'm not sure what it was on console. Maybe console
PC
had that
it
as well.
But I don't think console
PC for sure hit that.
Yeah, which is amazing because I feel like one of the things that you can say is like, oh, people just make co-op games to sell more games or whatever, sending two people. But it's like, no, it's an incredible experience. Like the fact that you have to buy two, it sucks because it's money, but like it's really worth it if you can. And the fact that they included that is just like, yeah, just play the game.
I will always say that co-op games are a better experience, and I'm talking about strictly co-op, 1-2 people only are better like experience than multiplayer games are. I think when you have that intimate one-on-one gaming session with somebody, I think that means more and it's more powerful and the moments are more powerful than if you have 4 people who are all yelling something or whatever. And I think a perfect example of that is Journey, and this is in hindsight too, because when you played Journey, you played with someone else, but you didn't know it was someone else. And then as soon as it revealed that it's an actual real player, not just a CPU, spoilers for Journey.
For Journey, I haven't played it yet.
A 20-year-old game.
Honestly, I haven't played it either, but I followed like every beat of it because I don't have PlayStation, but I followed everything about it. But once that was revealed, it was such a powerful moment. I remember people, like anyone who's reviewing, all the critics were just like falling in love over that concept that, oh my God, I was playing with somebody. And like all the things we went through together. And that was like a low key co-op. So like co-op is, I think, more superior than multiplayer in that sense. It just makes everything, heightens it to a higher degree.
Well, even like Portal 2, kind of that same aspect. Like, that completely separate campaign from the single player.
Yeah.
Where you're 2 different robots just making it through this testing facility.
Yep.
Right. Do we think that games will shift back towards 2-player? Because I feel like for the longest time we've been on the 4-player co-op. Left 4 Dead, they tried bringing it back for Blood, and that game just last month, I believe, got announced like it's kind of shutting down. And I feel like that was a fad that is maybe on the outs, and maybe we're heading back towards 2-player games. What are we thinking?
I mean, you still got like Redfall coming out, right?
That's true.
Which is very much that same sort of vibe. I don't know. I feel like 4 has been kind of like the standard since like the N64 days, right?
I don't think 4 is it's going to be 4, but you could do 2, you could do 3, you could do 4. I don't think there's going to be a shift towards only 2. I think it's going to be up to people like Joseph Fares or any other like indie studios. Any other indie studios that are like, no, I want a specific, because like no one else did strictly 2-player like experiences. Joseph, he's the only one who, like, if I can remember, it was like the gameplay, the camera angles, everything was geared toward
for
two
two.
people experiencing. Even when you played online, it wasn't your screen; it was both of your screen. Like it split down the middle. I saw what I played, and I'm seeing what Robo was playing or whoever was playing. Yeah.
I played this past year Escape Academy, and when that launched,
yeah.
when you're playing co-op, you same thing. It's split down the middle, and you see everything the other person's seeing. They did eventually add an update to where you could turn that off.
Right.
Just because some people thought it was too easy because you could see everything the other player's seeing. But the fact that it launched and same thing. You could see everything they were seeing. So also a great game if you guys haven't played that. I believe it's still on Game Pass. So
that's an absolute highly recommend it. I gotta I had to ask because Robert, you and I are such DC fans, and to see the studios behind some of the best Batman ethos take that and go from single player straight to 4-person co-op, with Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. It hurts. It hurts. And I don't know, with Avengers and now Gotham Knights, and maybe Gotham or Suicide Squad is the final nail in the coffin of
oh my
hey,
god,
we gotta stop doing this. Back to single player.
It's such
it's literally the last hope.
Especially because these are games that look like they were meant to be single player, and then they went, well, what if we Destiny this? Yeah. I think Avengers even started out originally as a single player game, that they were like, hey, look at all this money that live service games like Destiny makes. Let's switch this up real fast.
Yeah.
This is the problem with AAA development, that it takes so long for the game to come out. So what was popular 4 years ago or whatever, by the time you release it, you don't know what the state of gaming is. And I know I've joked a lot when every time these battle pass games come out, multiplayer battle pass, I always make the joke, this will be dead in 6 months. How many of those are dead right now?
Oh yeah,
all of them. Rumble, the wrestling one died. The Hyperscape died.
We just had a
Knockout
podcast
City.
on this topic.
Didn't Knockout City die?
Knockout City's on its way out. Yeah.
Knockout City.
It's not dead yet.
Not dead yet, but
I think it's
the amount of these
May or
games
June.
come out, and then they're great, and it has such a huge resurgence because it's just a new video game. But you can't have a billion of these battle pass games. No one is going to pay all these $10 a month. It's like having 7 subscription services to the streaming things. You're gonna borrow you can't possibly pay for all of it and invest all your time in these types of games.
I'm so sad Rumbleverse is going away too. But I mean, I think that's the biggest part of it, is that a lot of these battle pass games are such they in order to essentially get your money's worth out of them, it's their time investments, right? And you can only invest in so many of these because you only have so much time. And if I'm having to choose between Fortnite and Rumbleverse, I'm probably gonna pick Fortnite.
You've already invested so much into it. Why leave it? And it's already just so good. So if you're gonna come out and not be extremely unique, or be better than whatever the competition is, you're gonna die. And that's the only reason Fall Guys survived, because it was
completely different.
It just started a new genre of super party games or whatever, like Mario Party steroid games.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's the official genre name.
Of course.
Stumble Guys. I feel like part of the problem is like you were saying, these especially AAA studios will try to chase the trend or whatever it is, as opposed to they're either chasing a trend or they're just straight out chasing money, and they just focus on sort of tagging on these things because they're like, well, we have to add the 4-player experience because that's what's hot right now, as opposed to if you look at somebody like Joseph Ferris, who's I don't care what the trend is, I want this incredible 2-player experience, and I'm going to focus on this. If it's niche, fine, who cares? But I'm going to focus on this and make it so good, as opposed to chasing this other thing. And the game was incredible. And I think you see that a lot from indie developers and studios, where they just focus on making they make the thing they want to make and make it amazing, which I think Fall Guys did that too. And I think that's another reason that Fortnite was so good. They sort of hopped on the bandwagon at the time, but it was so new that they were like, okay, well, we're going to do this and make it so good that it's, there's nobody that can compete with us, as opposed to just chasing this other thing that happens to be going on at the time.
Yeah, because especially in the case of those DC games, Arkham Knight came out 2015, and that was right around the single player games are dead type conversation, until it's brought back in 2018 with like God of War being like, no, single player games are alive, and I feel like they've already gone too far deep into 4-player co-op, and now they're like, hopefully with James Gunn, hopefully he's just like make single player or like 2-person co-op games like those.
Make
those are
it
what's
small.
popping. Yeah,
like make it an indie game. Who cares? Like the point is, if it's good, you can have a like just like in movies, right? You can have an interesting, weird concept movie that's not huge budget. Like Joker wasn't a massive budget movie.
right.
As far as I remember, but it was like it felt weird and art housey kind of, because like the vibe was so different. His name was Arthur Fleck. The Joker looked like he was just like, the face paint was different, right? Everything was just so weird, but it blew up because it was so weird and so good. So like the same thing needs to happen with these games. Like I hope, the future is just like, give it to people who know how to make good games, give them the IP and let them do it. Like I think the perfect example is dang it, what is that guy's name? He just showed Mike Bithell. He just showed Tron.
Tron. Yes.
He made one game that like proved he's a really great developer, and then from that
Thomas
point
Was
on,
Alone,
he's been he made Thomas Was Alone, which was a huge indie game. I don't remember if the next one also was his own IP, but then from that point on, he was getting hired to make video games based off of actual like real IP.
Mm-hmm.
Like do that. Like give someone who's really good at doing something and make it a 2-player game. Like, can you imagine if Joseph Ferris made a Batman and Robin game? Like, get out of town.
Oh my god, dude.
Just use that together, and like, can you imagine how incredible that would be?
Yeah.
Like, you have to play with a Robin. Can you imagine the amount of like parents and kids who will play that game? Like, get out of town. That would blow up.
Yeah.
That, or like if you did like True Detective, like just get two like just big actors and then like solve a mystery, or LA Noir.
Like Alan Wake meets LA Noir.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Give that to me.
Yeah.
Talking about like indie games though, Robo, I feel like you've carved out a space in the like warm, cozy, comfort indie games space on the internet. Are there good co-op games in that space? Are there good like warm, cozy, wholesome, other than just inviting someone to your Animal Crossing island?
I mean,
Like,
there definitely are, but I feel like within the indie space, it can be more difficult. Like, so one game that comes to mind that's not co-op, but I think is going to be really cool is Moonstone Island, which is coming out soon from, it's being published by Raw Fury. And it's sort of this combination of like Stardew Valley and Pokemon. It's like a creature collector, but like the battles are card battlers. So it's sort of like Slay the Spire. And it's got this beautiful pixel art and it looks incredible. And I was looking at like their comments on Twitter and stuff, and people were like, is this going to be multiplayer? Like add multiplayer. Like I already want the game, but if you add multiplayer to this, like I'm sold twice. And the response is like, we can't because it's simply too expensive. Like, and so I think at least within the world of indies, you don't see that as often, but not so much because people don't want that, but they don't have the budget for it because multiplayer is so expensive to add and get really correct. But there's definitely experiences. I mean, Animal Crossing for sure, which like I hesitate to call that co-op because you really just go and visit somebody, but like
fair enough.
You just bonk
so
them with
much
a net forever. Yeah.
So much of what you can actually do. To somebody's island if you're visiting.
Yeah, you can definitely do stuff with other people, but yeah, I mean, it's not co-op, but like, there's definitely good multiplayer experiences, and like, Among Us became really big, or like the Don't Starve Together series, like there's for sure some really fantastic, there's like top-down shooters and stuff, and even if they're not cozy and stuff, but there's definitely some really incredible multiplayer experiences to be found in the indie world for sure.
Party
you can find anything
animals.
you want. Yeah, party animals.
God, man.
I was gonna ask.
Been looking at it.
Fun weekend.
Yeah,
ever.
That was a moment. Can we have like a holding hands prayer moment that the party animals doesn't have a battle pass? Just make it. Everybody pop up.
Yes.
If that has a battle pass, I'm gonna be so sad.
I'm gonna fucking blow my brains out, dude. Like,
make it $29.99.
It's gonna be Game Pass, right?
Yes, that is confirmed Game Pass. At least,
at the very least. I'm gonna buy it though. I'm gonna give them the money. I want them to continue.
For sure.
Slapping some money on it. Now, I hate to ask this directly in the middle of the recording, but should I be seeing my waveforms come up while I'm speaking down at the bottom of the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
that might be a problem.
I see yours.
I see.
Yeah.
I see that.
Excellent. All right, cool. I was sitting there, I was like,
I don't see my own, so you're good.
Fair enough.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I do think that there's a really interesting like correlation just kind of between the like AAA co-op experience and the indie co-op experience these days. So I pulled up a list of like 2022 and 2023 co-op games, and like, of course, Google doesn't necessarily have a great way of categorizing these either, because there's like Street Fighter 6, and I was like, I guess, and you know, a bunch of other stuff that it's like co-op means play together, right?
Right.
But I look at what's so coming up, and it's like, yeah, you have Redfall and Suicide Squad, which are, you know, billed as like, hey, these are cooperative games, play with friends, do this thing. I mean, Dead Island 2 has a co-op mode on it, but then I kind of looked down the rest of this list, and there's not a lot of AAA co-op anymore.
Right.
Not in the way we think about it. It's which Minecraft Legends can be considered AAA. I don't really know where that studio is at.
I put like B+, A- type.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Double A.
Yeah, double A.
That's a real B- studio right there.
Yeah.
That sounds so insulting. They got
I'm sure it's really good.
No, I'm just kidding. It just sounds funny because like AAA is not even a grade, but like we're like, yeah, it's a B-.
B-. Triple B.
So it goes like AAA, double A, single A, A-. So many studios.
There's no triple B. It just goes A to B. What the fuck was I? What are we talking about? I don't remember.
You're talking about 2023 co-op,
AAA co-op. Yeah, upcoming. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what my point was. It's. I guess it's interesting just seeing kind of that sort of go away.
Yeah.
Right.
To where co-op usually just means like, hey, play together. Like I like Baldur's Gate. Like I guess technically, you don't see a lot of games like. Holy shit! Payday 3 comes out this year. I'm distracting myself. I'm sorry. I didn't know they were making a third one. I do love seeing games almost like. I think one of the bigger co-op experiences you see are games now like Overcooked and Moving Out and these sorts of things to where it's like, hey, you have like one small thing, just do it really, really well. There's not really a story there. I guess there is technically a story in Overcooked. I've never read a single word of dialogue in that. I mash it so hard so I can just get
same.
Now I'm thinking about Overcooked. I'm distracting myself again. I need to take my fucking meds.
I think there's been like
an
interesting problem with calling things co-op. It's like, because like to me, when I think of co-op, I think of two people. That is it.
Right.
But the gaming industry is co-opted co-op to mean if as long as you're on the same team, we were going to call it co-op. So it's a 4-player co-op. It's a MMO co-op. It doesn't matter. So
yeah, they kind of stretch that in multiple ways because, like, to your point, they focus on, they either go either direction. Like they like Street Fighter is almost always two people, but you're not working together. Or they go in the other direction where it's like, well, you are working together, but it's actually 6 people or whatever, you know. It's like, well, really, but like a true dedicated co-op experience, 2 people working together, one thing.
Yeah. Me and Robo fall into this because for our YouTube channel, we do make lists sometimes for upcoming games we're excited about that are co-op, but because we can't, if we were just strictly looking for games that were only 2 people, 2 players, this list would be like 1 or 2 games at most. So it's like you have to expand it to anything that's 4 players that you can play with 2 players, and it's not like a hindered experience or anything like that. So that's why like games like there's A Way Out. It Takes 2, Blanc,
and that's it. Those are the games.
Think of the PS3.
Other Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah, Tale of Two Sons.
His first game.
Yeah. But that was a single player game, Alec. That was not co-op.
Brothers was single player, but you control each of the individuals.
I didn't assume it was the same studio, so I thought it was 2-player.
And but yeah, I think Cuphead, isn't Cuphead 2 people only?
Yeah,
Cuphead.
They don't go more than 2. Yeah, that's cool.
Correct.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's like it's tricky with AAA because, like we were talking about, it takes so long for them to make one game that if they're not just focusing on one thing, they're chasing something from a while back. But like I think it's one of those things where it's like when people are like, "Our single player experience is dead." Maybe I don't know. And then God of War comes out, or like is co-op dead? And then like something like It Takes 2 comes out, which is not necessarily AAA, but it grew to such a height. But like if you look at something like Returnal, which I think I don't remember the launch of it. I just recently started playing it, but it does have co-op in it where you can do the whole campaign co-op. But I don't know if that was originally just like a DLC or something that was added later. But like that's there was a launch title for the PS5 that has this incredible co-op experience. I think it's just one of those things where it's like AAA games take so long to make that like by the time a new one comes out, people are like, I don't know, this thing is dead. And then God of War releases, they're like, oh, never mind, it's not dead. It's like, no, it just takes time. Like I think all of these trends are going to go up and down over time. There will be like trends like the 4-player co-op thing, like Back 4 Blood and stuff like that. But I think single player experiences, dedicated co-op, multiplayer, I think they're all going to have these like sort of big resurgences from time to time as like these new experiences come out. And it just takes time one way or the other.
Which to that aspect, like things like the Steam Next Fests, like those are so huge because like I think I added about like 20 games to my wish list during this last one.
Some good stuff.
Yeah.
Which speaking
like
of
Meet
co-op,
the Maker. Yeah.
Meet your Maker. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't wait for that.
It's
so
2
unique.
players max, so you can't run these mazes with 3 or 4, which is great. And I think 2 is perfect because the corridors are kind of narrow or whatever. But gosh dang, that has been one of the best co-op experiences.
Did you guys check that one out?
I booted it up a little bit, and
oh my god,
the first one I tried was like I think I just had somebody that was just trying to
speedrun,
be mean with their math level, and it was just like blocks everywhere, and it's like it just did not make any sense. So I kind of just rage quit out of that one because
like one person like builds a maze and then somebody else has
exactly
or something.
Like,
oh yeah.
They just the map I happen to choose because it's all user generated content, and this person just built their pyramid of just blocks, and like it just did not make any sense where to go. I'm like it just like basically get me hard mode right away, and I kind of just rage quit out of it.
Which it almost feels weird that type of game hasn't translated itself to just like one-on-one style of co-op. Like it's like everyone does the asymmetrical 4 players versus one guy online hunting them down, whether it's Friday the 13th or
God,
Predator,
I hope that trend ends.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It was cool, but I think we've done it. Let's move on.
But like I feel like we could almost go back to that just with one-on-one, like Deathloop.
I've been waiting to bring that one up.
Yeah, that was incredible. Having people like infiltrate your game and like try to hunt you down like in real time, like that asymmetric one-on-one, I think adds a whole different element. Like you were saying, Robert, like it is a different vibe when it's just you and someone else versus you and like 3 other people.
Yeah. It makes everything like so even if it's one-on-one this way or one-on-one like together against everything, like it just makes it so much more visceral. Like you're my enemy now, I'm going to kill you. Like
this is a personal
you hate
thing.
this person. It's not just like a crowd of people in like that just you happen to die or whatever because like you got hit by something or whatever. It's just like this. MF and MFer.
Bo used to come into my Deathloop sessions, and I'd pop him real fast. I'd be tweeting like, "Get fucked, Bo!" Like, let's see, like you thought.
See how much better is that? Dude? It's so good.
Yeah.
I do think there's also been a really, really interesting trend though, just in terms of like the way some studios look at co-op is you have games like I want to say this started with Minecraft, right? The idea of this sort of like cooperative survival thing. Because you have Valheim, you've got the Honey I Shrunk the Kids game. Sure. There's so many of them. You've got that Icarus one that I've seen Snowbike Mike and his boys playing that looks like it was made 20 years ago.
Like the Forest game too. It looks like it's been made in 1994.
Forest, I think that's part of it, right? It can't look new. It's not allowed to look new.
No.
Right.
Valheim has like N64 polygons, man. And I feel like I see those all the time. Like that sort of game is really big on Twitch. It's all of my fucking friends play them. The idea where you got to go out and punch trees to get wood to build a giant stupid base that is difficult to put together. And the moment one monster comes, it rips the whole thing, and there goes 10 hours of my life. And I'm like, why do you enjoy playing these things? But there is that similar sort of like shared experience there, right? I think is kind of the idea is that's one of the closer things I think when it was just like me and a buddy getting on a boat in Valheim and going to explore the world, be like, let's see what's out there, and then we died immediately because we found a troll that we weren't leveled enough to fight.
It's interesting that you bring those up too, because like I don't feel like maybe I haven't just been in the right circles to hear this, but like we were talking about, like Back 4 Blood and stuff like that, those are kind of dying down. I don't feel like I've seen any talk about like people getting tired of this genre yet, or like feel like it's going away, because I feel like
I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I can't stand it. Please stop making these games. I hate them, but but no, you're right though, and that's part of why I'm so irritated. Is like, oh, check this out, new co-op survival game. And I'm like, no, please.
Yeah,
surviving life is hard enough. I don't want to survive in a virtual world, please.
It's interesting because I do feel like with these games, one of their strengths, and maybe one of the reasons that we don't see them dying out as much, is like, with Raft or The Forest or Minecraft or whatever, they really combine so many different elements that if you're playing with somebody else, there's kind of something for everyone. If you're like, I love to go and explore and kill stuff, you love to organize, cool. You go, build our house and put it all together. I'm going to go kill stuff and collect resources to bring it back. Or vice versa. You can switch up. Like you can focus on different parts of it, and each person can sort of do their own thing, but still be contributing to this overall goal. It's really an interesting formula.
Oh, yeah. I have days clocked into Grounded, and that was literally Vegas Girl on Fire and I's dynamic. I'm like, you build the fort, I'm out there. I'm exploring. I'm getting the collectibles. I'll kill all the bugs. Like
punching
it. Up in this blueberry bush.
Literally. Yeah. I think once you take like something that's single player and then try to expand it out to 4, it's not as fun. But when you take something that's just like, here's a world, survive together. Like you can survive alone, but it's easier to survive together. I think that's a much better.
I think the thing about these survival games that work so much is that it's constantly throwing if you're progressing, it's constantly throwing something new at you. So it's like it's kind of feels like an adventure game of sorts, where you're always progressing into new biomes, new things, and you have to keep going forward and you keep progressing. And so it hits that like dopamine of like, me and my friend just discovered this. Whoa, that was so cool, man. You interact with that, this and that. And then like, as you start like understanding that, then you have to go someplace and you're like, whoa, look at all this cool stuff. And it's like, whoa, look at all this cool stuff. And it's kind of just feels never ending. And
one final roundtable question. What's been your personal favorite co-op experience / best? What do you think? Best / personal favorite.
Personal.
Best / personal favorite. Yeah.
Now, are we doing co-op one, like 2 people, or can it be just multiplayer with 2 people?
Whatever you want. If you want to throw in party co-op where it's the party animals, absolutely. If it's one-on-one on the couch, what's been the best?
I guess I go 2 real quick while I was thinking. For me, like It Takes Two. Like Brett and we played that before Game of the Year last year, or 2021 Game of the Year, and quickly made my top 10. Like I had to keep it from putting it too high just because it was so recent. Like I think we literally finished that game like an hour before we recorded that podcast. Yeah. And that game is it is so well polished. It is such a fun experience. And it just nails that co-op feeling. And then like you said, party animals. Like it was like 3 days of just staying up till like 2, 3 in the morning every night, just having a blast with everybody. Yeah. Like, and that was you could have 8 people in the game.
Yeah.
Like it was just chaos.
So. Yeah, I'd have to agree on A Way Out for sure. Or It Takes Two. And A Way Out. I mean, both. Because like you said, they polish it in every way, and the specific ways that they set up the like mini games and stuff, and the way that you shift back and forth between who's doing what throughout the game was just very impressive, and very clearly well thought out. But also, just to mention another one, I would be sad if I didn't mention the entire just like Borderlands series as a whole. It's a personal favorite of mine. There's so much fun. They've got their weak points and their ups and downs throughout the series, but like the experience overall is just always been one. Yeah, I love Tarantino.
So I will say, okay, I have a few answers because I'm a man of variables, so I like to I like to have multiple answers depending on what it is.
If you say eggs, I swear to God.
Fallout 76. Just kidding.
That's all, folks. Thanks for chatting.
If we're talking strictly co-op, 2 people, I have to say A Way Out. I like that more than It Takes Two, only because it was like one of those things where it came first. That like feeling of I'm very big on like if this was like my first experience with something so unique and interesting, it holds a special place in my heart. So while I can admit that It Takes Two is a better game overall, I liked A Way Out more.
I agree
because
I'm actually there with
that
you,
was okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not alone.
Yeah,
because like for the longest time, I've been itching for like that kind of game. I think the first time I ever like saw this kind of like, oh, you have to play with 2 people was like an Army of Two. I don't know what console that came out on. It was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
360 PS3 type beat. Yeah.
Okay, a long time. But they were like, this is 2 people, and I was like, oh my god, too bad I don't have any friends to play with. But one day. So then when this came out, I was like, oh my god, yes. And so like playing that experienced a crazy story, and I'm a sucker for stories in video games, and that one I like the story of that a lot more than the story of It Takes Two. But It Takes Two had better like levels and gameplay and all that, so it was a better game overall. But It Takes Two was A Way Out was just so special in that sense. Plus it had like intrigue and mystery and all these kind of like cool things in like that wrapped into that story. So I thought that was like perfect co-op for me. But I'm also going to say one more for like, it's like multiplayer, but I only play it in co-op. Minecraft. I think Minecraft is extremely special because I remember the first time I played Minecraft was with my girlfriend, now wife, and we played for tons of hours, just us two. And it was like one of the best gaming experiences that I've ever had, experiencing and learning and all this other stuff. And then Minecraft, I think, is special because then I went through the same thing playing with Robo for the channel, and I knew things about Minecraft. Yes, there were like new things that were added, but I knew things he didn't know things. But it was still fun. But it was fun in such a different way because the dynamics of who you play with change it, and like it's special because like some co-op games where you play with one person, it's going to take you through a story, and like the experience is usually kind of similar. But because Minecraft is such an open world and it's different, then everyone you play with is going to kind of be a little different. And so yeah, those are my 2 answers.
Hell yeah, love it. Chris?
Yeah, I got a couple rapid fire answers. As far as like 2-player specifically, this one's a deep cut. So the Rogue Squadron series didn't have co-op until the 3rd one on the GameCube. But it was specifically, it wasn't that you played the 3rd one in co-op, it's that they put the entire Rogue Squadron 2 on the disc and you played that in co-op, and they actually like rebalanced it for 2 people. And
that's cool.
And so yeah, when I was in college, buddy and I just kind of played through Rogue Squadron 2 in co-op, flying around in X-Wings and stuff, and yeah, having that beautiful like couch gaming moment of like Red 5 standing by, you know, as they're sitting on the thing, and like it's that was definitely like just a little thing that nobody, I picked it up. I was like, hey, it says this has co-op, let's play it, and we just spent our entire Saturday doing that. And then if I'm picking 4-player though, I mean, look, y'all know me. You know who I am in the game that I like to play, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking, any Halo on Legendary with 4 people is going to be an immediate blast, and like absolutely no question about it. You're all going to have a great time. Those games are silly, they're fun, they're ridiculous. It's sure you can play them online, but if you get all 4 people on a couch together, all playing split screen Halo co-op, it doesn't get any better than that. I can't pick out any particular one time with that. I've done it a lot, but it's magical. Go pick up Master Chief Collection and figure it out, you know?
Fair enough.
Or get a Game Pass. It's all on there.
Figure it out.
Yeah. I have 2 of the most Josh answers for this question. Revenge of the Sith on PS2.
Oh, hell yeah.
Give me and my friend lightsabers and let each other just beat the shit out of one another and just mash buttons with lightsabers.
The versus mode in that game was rad.
Chef's kiss. Yeah, that was like tacked on, but that was like actually good. You know, tacked on co-op stuff.
Give me the lightsabers, baby.
And then another one, I'm gonna say NHL 05 on the PS2.
A sports game?
Playing
we never even brought up any sports games.
Yeah. Only sports game I've played was like NHL 04 to 07. And it's just like, there's something so fun about it. Like seeing your friend take the puck up ice and you're like mashing, switching players to see who's closest to him to like try to get a body check in. And like nothing was funnier than having him up against the glass and I just body check him through the glass. Like just so much fun. You would pause the game to go to the bathroom and you'd come back and like your goalie was pulled. And it's like, God fucking damn it, dude. You went into the settings and just pulled my goalie for an easy score. It got to the point where I'm unplugging my controller and taking it with the bathroom with me. So that way he's not getting a cheap shot on me.
That's funny.
Those are like my two greatest personal favorite co-op
Josh,
games.
I feel like every time I talk to you, I learn something new.
That was just an NHL kid
for the NHL pick, man. That's fucking awesome.
Gosh, I was telling you, no one said sports games. That's crazy.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like I got to throw in NBA Street Volume 2. Played that a little.
NBA Street was so sick. Yeah, I remember NBA Street.
Yeah. Is it because they've all just gone online, similar to like everything else though? I feel like I see NBA pop off like every year, but like there's like people who buy sports games.
I think still one of kind of like the longer standing forms of still having like traditional couch co-op, though, right? Like when my brother came visited last Thanksgiving, like we're just kind of looking for something we could both play on one console. We settled on MLB The Show. Right. We were able to just sit down, play it, crank a couple games out. It even has specifically a 2-player co-op online mode, so you can go and play against other 2-player teams as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So do like a rad like 2v2 kind of thing. It's really cool. We got our asses handed to us because I don't really understand baseball, but like it was really anytime my friends and I are at in each other's houses, so there's usually like NBA 2K or FIFA or something going on too, because it's still one of the easiest things I think to just load up and get into a game with 2 people quickly, with no hassle.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see more of that 2v2 online type stuff.
It's really
like,
cool.
Give me like a Knockout City type game, but make it just 2 people. I feel like that would blow up because that'd be so unique and new in that.
Mario Strikers Battle League.
Tried. Alec, Nintendo. Nintendo's multiplayer is like, bro, Nintendo making multiplayer anything is like having just a bunch of people in like protective big ball suits playing with each other. Like, it's so safe and so cringe.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a huge
Call of Duty's
fan.
Gunfight popped off for a while, right? Like back in the first
2v2
in the first Modern Warfare reboot.
Oh yeah.
Had a sweet 2v2 mode that really blew up.
There is an indie game coming out soon, Friends vs. Friends, that has a nice 2v2 mode.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't seen that, it's like it's a shooter, and it's either 1v1 or 2v2. But you have these cards that you can play that do like wacky stuff. They'll make your opponent's head bigger, or like just completely nuke the map, and it's all kinds of crazy stuff. I think.
Oh yeah. This looks sick.
Yeah, we played.
Did our video pop up when you searched?
Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Are we trending on SEOs and stuff? No. Dang it.
Yeah. And then one other thing I wanted to do. I feel like I'd be reminiscing.
You gotta go out 4th page, bro. 4th page.
Fourth page. Yeah.
The dark web.
Dark web.
I feel like as the time of recording, Valentine's Day just happened. And so I want to know what's your co-op picks for wanting to get your partner into co-op games.
It was Minecraft, man. That was like
Minecraft?
that was our first. That was our first meet. Me and my girlfriend back in like I think we were like maybe year 3 into our relationship or something like that. And it was Minecraft, man. We just got lost completely, and I think even now it holds up. Minecraft is crazy, man. It just keeps holding up.
Yeah, something for everybody there.
Yeah.
I mean, my partner was already very into gaming by the time we got together, but just like I think it was more about finding the right game for us to play together. Like we played like Spiritfarer or stuff, like some more relaxed games, but also recently she had never played a first-person shooter, and I was like, "Do you want to check out Borderlands?" And we booted up Borderlands 3, and she fucking loved it. She fell in love,
fantastic,
just having a blast. And I did not expect, because she had never played a first-person shooter, I feel like the controls, if you've never played a first-person shooter, the controls are kind of like, what are we doing here? But not only did she love it, but she got into being a sniper. Like, she was like, not only did that, I'm gonna zero in on it. So,
the most like precision shot.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. Chris, anything you're playing or playing with Britt over there?
A lot of single player stuff recently. I got her an Xbox for Christmas, so she's just kind of been working her way through a bunch of like Game Pass stuff, right?
Nice.
Nothing recently as far as games that we have played together though. One of her first kind of like experiences was I was like, look, you're married to me, we're gonna have to play Halo. And we ran through Halo.
I keep telling Robo.
It's like, you're gonna have to,
Start it up. Let's go.
That's awesome.
I had another answer, and I've already forgotten it. So I guess we'll just go. I stick with the tried and true. That's Halo.
I feel like just another thing could be any of the Telltale games. I think those could be kind of a good introduction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You and then you.
Wait, are we talking about like what we would suggest for people to get into thing, or things that we've done together?
Both.
Oh, okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure I had the proper answer. I'm still looking for Co-op Comedy's video to pop up on my on YouTube.
You're gonna have to keep scrolling.
I'm dedicated, baby. I'm dedicated. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna go get there. There it is.
Page 12.
I do like the idea of having your partner download the Telltale app to make decisions, and then if your decisions like conflict with each other, seeing who's like works out. Are we going in dressed up as Batman or Bruce Wayne? Like, what are we doing here?
That's another I just thought of As Dusk Falls.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The last year.
Yeah, that's on Game Pass, and I believe that you can each make decisions or take control of certain characters and make decisions for them.
Yeah, that was a unique multiplayer experience for sure.
One of the first things that Brittany and I ever played together was actually the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee games.
Oh yeah.
There was technically a co-op mode, and I actually went and got like the little Pokeball controller and everything, right? Because she was really into Pokemon Go, but always found like how long and big a lot of especially modern Pokemon games are, like a little intimidating.
Right.
And so being able to just kind of go in there and like assist in battles and with catching Pokemon and stuff, and having something that was just kind of a little more relaxed, hit that cozy gaming spot, right, was really, really cool.
Right.
It still has that Nintendo thing of like, hey, second player kind of doesn't fucking matter.
Classic Nintendo.
The second player, it's like you don't get to progress anything. You just kind of use whatever Pokemon player one has caught, and then you can just leave and nothing changes. But
just go, dude.
Yeah. Like literally, you press a button and you fly back to your people somewhere else.
Right.
I love that Nintendo thinks that like that's what we want from multiplayer. Like some rando's gonna come into our house. Hey, what do you play? Let me pop in real quick. Like, sure, grab this controller. You could get star bits for me, and then whenever you gotta go to your shift at work, you could just pop out. And I'm back to single player. Like, what is going on? Like, what do you think is happening in people's gaming sessions? Like, 10-year-old kids playing. Dad comes in. What are you doing there, son?
Can you imagine if they released like a full-fledged co-op Zelda experience? Like Breath of the Wild co-op.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't put it in the ethers.
No, because
it'll ether I can't have.
It'll happen, but you'll be what was the name of the voice?
You'll be the wolf
of the sword from Skyward Sword, Fee.
Oh yeah,
you'll be Fee. So you don't actually get to do anything. No. You can stop and talk to them, and you can wave around your
starbits. Everything is just starbits.
Wait, no, there was that in Wind Waker back on the GameCube. In Wind Waker, if you
played the wind?
No. No, in Wind Waker, if you had the Game Boy Advance connector.
Oh yeah, the treasure tracker thing.
That's right.
So you would be Tingle and drop bombs on enemies, and that's what you did. It was Tingle being floated around on a balloon, and
that's
horrible. It was terrible.
The most convoluted. Hey, you want to play? Yeah, sure. Okay, go get a Game Boy. Go get that weird connector that nobody bought, and then you get to be this weird fairy.
Do I get to be like Zelda or something? They go, no.
You're Tingle. I'm sorry.
Quite the opposite, my friend.
You get to be this pedophile in this world.
There was 4 swords, but that was also like such a huge barrier to entry, right? So where it's like
everyone had to play with the.
Everyone has to have a Game Boy Advance and their own cable.
I was gonna say, and those 4 connectors to the GameCube.
They dropped the ball on GameCube so hard by making it the multiplayer games like so freaking weird. They had that dope Crystal Chronicles game, the Final Fantasy one, but you had to control it with some stupid. Oh my god!
One person, I did actually play this game with
lunchbox, but you have to have 16 billion things to play with it.
So I did play Crystal Chronicles with a buddy of mine, and the whole point of Crystal Chronicles was that is like everything has evil fog, and you have this chalice that gets rid of the evil fog.
Right.
But in order to progress, somebody just has to fucking carry the crystal chalice to get rid of the evil fog. So you're like, you got one person just running around with this thing. You're like, can I fight? And your friend's like, no,
we need you. That's really important right there.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, weird Nintendo things. And to summarize, stop making tacked on co-op things. Everything is a bit of a trend. So, hopefully 4-player co-op on its way out the door, and maybe 2-player starts coming up, because Joseph Fares kind of popping off, and so hopefully in the next couple of years we'll see
give him all the
more
money,
of those
everybody.
games. Give them all the money, give more studios all the money.
Clone
and
him.
then give us party animals, please.
For the love of God.
Yeah.
Q1 supposedly. Q1.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
I'll believe it when I'm playing.
2026
Time will
Q1.
tell. Robo Robert, where can people find you guys?
Go ahead, Robo. Co-opcomedy.com,
YouTube/co-op comedy. Or my personal content, Robo Dessert, anywhere.
I don't do personal content anymore, so don't follow me anywhere. Just go to co-opcomedy.com.
Do not perceive me.
That background. You have to.
Yeah, just search Co-op Comedy on YouTube and you'll find us. Big thing we're doing now is monthly live streams together in person. Funny. They're all themes. Oh, thank you. They're going to be theme based, so we'll see what March becomes.
I'm here for it. Check their links down below, and while you're down there, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell, hit like if you like this, the thumbs up, and let us know in the comments down below what's your favorite co-op experience. And with that, we'll see you next Media Club. That's about it. Love you. Ciao.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you. Bye.